Okay, so this is part B of the previous question. So as you notice, what I did is to actually change the position of the source of sound and the village. Now, so if the speed of sound is 330 meters per second, what's the time lapse between the two thunders heard? You notice that it's the same question, but what happens now is that the context of the question is now different. So the source of the sound is right now on the right hand side, and the observer, the one who hears the sound, is actually in the middle. Okay, and the reflection of the sound is actually on the leftmost corner. Okay, so before I proceed further, maybe you would like to pause the video over here. Try to work on the question on your own before you look at the solution. Alright, so maybe you can pause now. Okay, I hope that you have finished attempting. Alright, so right now let's check the answer. We'll go through it together. Okay, so when the thunder is heard, okay, the first sound will actually reaches the village first, right? Okay, so this is the first sound that reached the village. But this sound, after it reaches the village, it will continue to move towards the mountain range. And once it hits the mountain range, it will turn back. So this is the reflection. And you have sound number 2. So basically, again, similar to the previous question, the time lapse between the first sound and the second sound. So similar approach, we will first find out what is the time taken for T1 and what's the time taken for T2, where T1 is actually the sound, the time taken by the first sound. Okay, so time taken by sound 1 to reach the village. Okay, so you know that T1 is actually equals to distance over speed. So the distance traveled by sound 1 is actually 660 meters, right? And the speed is actually 330 meters per second. Right, so I hope you have no problem understanding this part. Right, so this will give you 2 seconds, right? Okay, so if you need me to further explain a little bit more, the sound travels from the thundercloud to the village, and that is the total distance taken. So the total distance taken is actually just 660 meters. Right, so since the speed of sound is 330 meters per second, T1 should be 2 seconds. Right, let's look at T2. So T2 is actually the time taken by sound 2. Okay, now so you realize that actually sound 2, does it travel from the village? No, it travel actually from the thundercloud itself as well. Okay, so this is actually the part they need to include as well. So the total distance traveled by the second sound is actually 660 meters per on the first part. Okay, as you can see under the light blue highlight. Okay, so this is the first part until it reaches the village, and it continues to move beyond the village. So the part that it continues to move beyond the village will be in green. So this portion is actually 330 meters per second. So 330 meters, right, sorry, distance 330 meters. Okay, and then there's a reflection. Okay, so I'll highlight it in pink. Okay, the reflection is also 330 meters. So this gives you the total distance traveled by the sound. The speed of sound is 330 meters per second. So this should be able to give you the answer of 4 seconds. So T2, the sound 2, will actually take 4 seconds to reach the village. This is the reflection, right? So the time lapse between t1 and t2, okay, will give you the answer. Right? So time lapse is then equals to t2 minus t1, and that gives you 4 seconds minus 2 seconds, and hence 2 seconds. Did you manage to answer this part of the question? Okay, I do hope that you were able to work this out on your own. Okay, because basically we are just using the same method, the same approach, but what changed is actually just the context of the question.